Okay, so Puyo Puyo Sun has now received its first ever official localization. Yeah, for context, the Sega Mega Drive Mini 2, the second Mega Drive Mini variant, just released, and one of the games included is a 16-bit demake of Puyo Sun. Despite being a strange thing to make, it's pretty cool. It's the first ever official re-release Puyo Sun has gotten in the Sega era of Puyo, but what's especially cool is that old compile devs were brought on to help make this port, and even one of the most iconic Puyo artists, Ichi, who made many of the most iconic pieces of Mado Monogatari and Puyo Puyo series artworks, did new box art for this. Anyway, I wanted to talk about specifically the localization that Puyo Puyo Sun has finally received. Puyo Sun is sorta infamous for having particularly amazing cutscene dialogue. However, this Mega Drive demake doesn't include the story mode and cutscenes due to time constraints the team faced when developing this, hence why this port is actually called Versus Puyo Puyo Sun. Oh well, but whatever. What made me want to make this video was seeing this, the official English translated version of the digital manual that's available online from Sega. So, I have reason to believe this was partially, if not fully machine translated by Google Translate. I'm gonna go through this manual and observe just how everything is written. Now, this first section, I can't say it's written poorly actually, although if you've read a lot of stuff that's been translated directly from Japanese to English, you might be able to tell this wasn't natively written in English. To paraphrase through this, the Dark Princess had an apparent epiphany that tanned skin is seen as attractive, and that, quote, I need to make more effort to really put myself out there. The game's plot has continued to be explained. In a lot of ways, a tropical tour would have been the easier option, but at the same time, the troubled Dark Prince of the Underworld had his own priorities, so the plan seemed a reasonable compromise under the circumstances. It never even occurred to the Dark Prince that anything could possibly go wrong. He just had absolutely no idea. This goes on and is fine and dandy until... oh no. Leave our world alone, she yelled, a bold act of defiance. Why, she was none other than my hero and yours, Arles. Arles. Pretty bad for an official game manual from the current year to misspell the main character's name, but we can let that slide. It's only a small mistranslation, misspelling, so... Next, there's art of the Puyos in here that is taken from Puyo Puyon rather than Puyo Sun. Not a complaint or anything, just a weird oversight. The way the game rules are written is fine, a tiny bit of awkward wording, but it's nothing to write home about. To get to the juicy stuff, let me get to the character section. According to this, Arl is a witch's apprentice. Who could this witch be she's the apprentice for? Who knows? Carbuncle's goo being spelt as goo is so funny. It's exactly how they'd incorrectly do so during the compile era, and now it's being done again here, even though in other localized Puyo games from recently, they've been able to romanize and spell it correctly. Funnily enough, this is the first instance to my knowledge of an official localized Puyo game to not change the instance of the word pervert to creeper. I don't know where they got the word dragonesque from, but alright. In truth, Harpy's singing is so unbelievably tone-deaf that it's akin to mere sound pollution. Ain't that the truth? Okay, here's where shit gets real. Chopoon's description. A somewhat suspicious guy who likes to dress up as Arul. He has a child of his own and is a practitioner of the Chinese martial art, Bajiquan. Chopoon has a child of his own. What? Everyone reasonably assumed this was a mistranslation. But no, apparently no one had bothered to translate his bio in any of the Puyo Sun manuals previously, because it turns out he actually is a father of one. This sent the Puyo fanbase into disarray for a little bit. This guy has canonically fucked. I'm so baffled. Apparently Incubus is bisexual too according to this. Good for him. Speaking of being fruity, Skatadara is a fruit of the sea, whatever that means. Kikimora is... a fairy. Yeah, alright. Which apparently can magically enchant the laws of the universe. Alright, buddy. Now here's where shit gets real again. Demon Lord Elephant. What the fuck kind of name is that? Well, to explain what happened here, they took his Japanese name, Zo Daimao, and translated it literally and got this as a result. Never mind the fact his name had previously been localized as Zo Daimao already. At least we know now he's second to none when it comes to dynamism. Also nice to know that Honeybee is, quote, mad on period dramas. Ragnus the Brave. Oh Lagnus, what did they do to you? When you level up, you will return to your original youth form for a short time. Call it a kind of biological metamorphosis. If the previous descriptions didn't reek of Google Translate, then this one is caked completely with the smell. What the hell happened? Rulu has the destructive power of 30 Demon Lord elephants. Lovely. And also the Dark Prince is about 100,000 years old. I guess that's canon. And that's it. Oh my god, how did this even happen? I have a couple of theories. The first is basically what the actual Puyo Puyo Facts account said on Twitter, which is that, quote, no proofreading, knowledge of the franchise, and lack of style guides, most likely. I think that's absolutely plausible. Something tells me Sega of America doesn't have Puyo style guides. I do think though, for my other reason, that the translation team for the Mega Drive/Genesis Mini 2 were probably under crunch and didn't have time to provide a better translation, and were forced to use machine translation and call it a day, if I had to make an estimate on how this could have happened. And that's about it. This video wasn't meant to be an attack at Sega, nor am I really actually upset about this. It's just really funny this even happened in the first place. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back with more content soon.